If you already know all these tips, you're probably a professional Livescope user, but if not, you're going to want to stick around. We're going to dive into some of the settings that are going to help you the next time on the ice. A very overlooked button on the unit is going to be the power button. Most people are going to use it just for turning on and off the unit, but if you just tap on it, it's the easiest way for turning down your backlight. If you're fishing in the fish house or on bright sunny days like this, you can turn it up to make sure that you can see everything that's going on. The other thing that a lot of people are going to use is if you're going to drive around and use the GPS, either in your truck or side by side, anything like that, or in the summertime, if you're going to make a long run across the lake, you can disable all sonar so your transducer is not transmitting as you're running across the lake. The next tip we're going to touch on is going to be the grid lines. So right now I have them on. It's kind of a personal preference. Some people like them on, some people don't. The nice thing is, in a scenario like this, we have a few small perch sitting here on the bottom. So if I didn't have the grid lines on, I wouldn't know exactly where they're lining up on top. So if I send Mike out there to go drill a hole, I'm not going to have a real accurate reading on the exact distance that he is. So like right now, I have the grid lines on, like I said. So those are at 20 feet. To turn them on and off, you go into your menu, you go to your sonar setup, and then in layout, the grid overlay. So right now it's on show. I can hide those, and so now my screen looks a lot clearer because I don't have any of the grid lines on there. Like I said, personal preference thing. I like to keep mine on, especially in the winter. So if you have fish on the bottom, whether you're fishing perch, you're fishing walleyes, anything like that, you know exactly where those fish are at, and you're gonna drill a more accurate hole. So we had Mike pace off what he thinks is about 40 feet. We want him to kind of drill on top of these few fish that are on the bottom here. I'm gonna turn the grid lines back on. So I'll go into the menu, sonar setup, layout, grid overlay. I'm going to turn that on. He's going to punch a hole here. We'll see how close he is to those. So when he punches through, we should be able to see it. So there he was right there at 45 feet. So he was just a touch too far. So he can, but he was right in line with the transducer, but he can come this way about 5 feet and he'd be right at 40 feet. So there he is, right at 40 feet, right on the top here. So nice thing is if you're out fishing with a buddy, you're trying to chase down some basin fish like this, you can be extremely accurate when you have one person sitting here watching the Livescope, another person out drilling the holes. You know that you're gonna be right on top of those fish. So now that we have Mike set up on 40 feet, we're gonna have him drop his jig down there. He's got a pinhead minnow on. We'll see if we can see it. So as far as the gain goes, there's two different types of gain. So we can faintly see his jig dropping down here, or his line going down. He does have braided line on. But a lot of people like to have their screen extremely clear so you can see like some fish on the bottom, but you don't have a bunch of background noise. The downfall, in my opinion, to that is like with his jig dropping down here, you don't get a great return on it. I feel like it filters out almost too much. I like to run my gain a little bit higher, kind of to where you're almost seeing some of this background clutter. As you're scanning around looking for fish, the fish are going to pop a little bit more. So I would rather filter through that myself and kind of see everything as opposed to having the screen filter it out for me. The nice thing with this too is if we're seeing his jig down there and he's dropping down and he's fishing, we can tell him if he's got fish that are reacting to his lure he has down there. We can kind of tell him when to jig or what to do with it. So just a lot more interactive with that when you have two people out here fishing. There is two different kinds of gain on these units. So this would be your standard gain that's going to be right on the Livescope screen that you can hit your plus or minus on to kind of clear up your screen or see more. The other one, if you go into your menu, you go to sonar setup, appearance, you're going to have color gain. I usually run mine pretty high on this. We've kind of been filtering with it today, but I usually run mine pretty high. So if you watch like the bottom of the lake or these fish here, if I turn this down, it just takes some of the brightness out of the bottom and out of those fish. I would rather have those pop quite a bit more so it's easier for me to see as I'm scanning around quick, or even in the summertime if you're quick scanning with like the trolling motor or a pole. It's just going to be easier for you to catch that stuff with your eye as you're scanning and make sure that you're seeing every fish down there. Another sweet feature with these units, depending on which one you have, if you have an Ultra 2 106 or up, you can screen record on them. So if you go to the Active Captain app and you hit the helm feature, there's my screen right there. So as I scan around, you can see the screen changing on there. So a couple sweet features with this, whether you're on a school of fish and you don't want to take your phone out to take a video of your actual unit, you can just screen record right on here. Or if you're in a scenario like we just sent Mike out to go drill a hole, if you're out here by yourself, you can leave your Livescope sit here. You could go walk over there with a flasher, a rod, auger, kind of just the essentials you're going to need to go hole hop, and you can make sure that you're accurate and you're right on top of those fish, and that by the time you got over there and drilled on top of them, that they have not moved on. So when you want to start screen recording, you just hit the helm feature on the Active Captain app. This is my unit, so I just tap on it, and there goes a fish right there, up suspended. That was that fish. I don't know which way he went. There he is right there. He's kind of fading out. So right there, that fish is going to be this fish right here. Then if you want to start screen recording, you can just hit this record button here. It'll start screen recording. When you're done, you can just hit the stop button, and then you can just have that saved right to your videos on your phone. Another sweet feature on the app is if you need an update. So if you go out and your unit's kind of laggy, or you have some issues with something on your unit, just make sure that it's up to date. So when you come into Active Captain, you can hit My Marine Devices. If I have an update that's available right now, so if you have an update, it's going to show you across the top. You can download it and you can do the update right through your phone here, and then it'll also list what your devices are that you have connected to the Active Captain app. Super easy to do. I'll probably do mine when I get home after we get off the lake, make sure it's ready to go for the next time we hit the ice. Garmin makes multiple different units for these Livescopes. One like this, Ultra 2 106, has quick keys on the side. So if you're out hole hopping, you don't want to take your gloves off and have to use the touch screen, you can set these quick keys. So I had set Livescope page to 1 and then 2 to the map. So if you want to check the map quick, go to a different structure on the lake or anything like that, different weed line, you can hit 2 on the quick keys, get over to your spot, drill a hole, hit 1, you're going to be on your Livescope screen. Just very quick and easy to navigate the unit. Other cool feature with this is you can screen mirror on your phone like we showed on the Active Captain app, and then you can airdrop that to your TV depending on your TV, or you can buy a USB-C to an HDMI cable and get it to the TV. If you don't want to mess around with the app and screen mirroring and doing that, they also make 8600 series screens that have an HDMI out on it. So you can just buy an HDMI cable. We have this one ran to the TV here in the fish house. So if you're running a fish house or a snow bear or anything like that, and you want to be able to play it up there, make sure everybody in the fish house can see what's going on, make sure to look at these 8600 series screens. If you have any other questions on Livescopes, make sure to drop them in the comments or stop into your local shields and talk to your local expert. Now I'm going to get to fishing.